Hi, this is your longer asana practice for the month of April. And as you know, our theme is rooting down, sloughing off, and blooming into spring. So we'll be exploring a little bit of that in our practice today. So let's start in a grounding mudra. We'll bring our right heel into the V of our legs and then bring our left heel in front of our right ankle. Take your left hand down on the inside of that front foot and let your right hand just gently hammock the heart. Find your sit bone so you're not floating on just that right sit bone. Take a nice deep inhale, let the shoulders ground down and your neck become long. And then as you exhale, bow your head. And just begin to connect with your breath. Feeling a nice elongated inhale and exhale. And finding the pause at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. That place where the breath is still. And let yourself linger there until the body spontaneously takes that next inhale or lets that exhale go. And as the breath stills, let the mind still as well. Letting thoughts go, sloughing them off with each exhale. And with each inhale, breathing in new life and vitality. And keeping this inner stillness, even maybe keeping the eyes closed, switch from one side to the other. Take the left heel in towards the V of your legs. Bring the right heel right in front of that left ankle. Bring the right hand down on inside of the right foot and hammock the heart with your left palm. Letting your awareness on your breath help draw you more deeply within. Let it help you shed all the activity and thoughts and worries and to-dos in life so that you can come to a quiet place for your practice. Let go of all the expression in your face. Softening the jaw. And just finding a place of peace. When you're ready, just gently open your eyes. Let your gaze be not like that of an eagle, but just very soft. Go ahead and come down onto your left side. Bring your right leg in front of you and taking a hold of the little toe side of the foot, just slowly begin some movement. As you inhale, sweep the leg behind you, keeping it parallel to the floor, feeling as though the belly button is reaching towards the heart. And then as you exhale, bring the leg forward, taking your belly button towards your spine, arching your back. I always get a good pop on this leg when I do this. Let's do one more. So we've done 4 total. And then when you come back on the exhale, go ahead and set the foot down and take hold of this bottom foot. Pull the heel in towards you and the knee behind you. Holding here for a second, keeping the integrity of your bone structure, so not sinking into that left arm, but keeping your humerus bone on that left side nice and long. And then go ahead and come down onto the left shoulder and let the left arm just come out, settle down towards the earth, and start to turn your heart towards the ceiling. You might have to let go of the left leg, but if you can keep hold of it, then keep hold of it. Let the right leg kind of come down just a little if it needs to, towards the end of the mat. Just enjoying a gentle twist here. And go ahead and let go of that left leg and roll all the way onto your back. And then from here, let's do a little movement. Bring your feet hip distance apart, as far in towards your sit bones as you can. Sometimes you can hold onto the mat and just pull yourself down a little bit towards them. As you inhale, slowly reach your arms up and overhead as you lift your hips off the mat. At the top of the pose, the backs of your hands will be on the floor and your hips will be high. As you exhale, reverse the motion, slowly lowering the hips back down as you sweep your arms all the way back to the floor along your sides. Do that about 3 more times, nice and slow. Continuing to cultivate inner stillness, using the movement to draw you within. And come down from that last one. And then let's roll over. As usual, I'm going to flip, but you don't need to flip. Just roll over onto your right side. I'm going to make sure I'm facing the camera. Bring yourself up again on your forearm. Bring the top leg in front of you. Take hold of the little toe side of the foot. And as you inhale, sweep the leg behind you as you reach the heart forward. As you exhale, sweep the leg in front of you as you arch the back towards the wall behind you. Just moving at your own pace, taking the entirety of the breath for the movement. And we'll do 4 on this side. And after you get done with that 4th one, go ahead and put the foot down on the mat. Take hold of that bottom foot, kind of on the top of the ankle. Pull the knee behind you, pull the heel in, and then stretch long through this humerus bone so you're not collapsing. Nice and tall, hold here. You can tuck the left toes a little more toward you for an extra special stretch on the back of the leg. And then let's bring this into our twist. So we're going to maybe continue holding that back leg, maybe move your fingers a little more towards the toes if you need to. But you're going to come down onto this shoulder. Let it come straight, the arm comes straight out, and then roll your left shoulder towards the floor, take your heart towards the ceiling. And then just let yourself marinate in your twist here for a few breaths. When you're ready, go ahead, and based on where I'm at, I'm just going to roll over on my stomach. If you want to reorient yourself on the mat, we're generally going to come to a tabletop position. So we'll come here and bring the knees underneath the hips, feet directly behind the knees, and bring your wrists under your shoulders. And then Lift up and come back into your downward facing dog. Stretch long through the arms and then hug the top of the humerus bones into your armpit. Let the back of your legs be long as you take your tailbone back and up. And then maybe walk the dog, bend one knee and then the other. And then go ahead and walk your feet to your hands. Come into Uttanasana, or your forward fold. Let the head become heavy towards the earth. Bend the knees slightly. Inhale, sweep the arms straight forward and all the way overhead. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Take the front of your pubic bone a little bit behind the belly button to create a natural curve in your spine. Drop your shoulders down your back. And feel the beauty of this pose. I know it's mountain pose, but for me it could just as well be tree pose, because you can really just feel that grounding from the bindu point or the midpoint in the pose, which is in the belly, down into the earth. You feel strong and grounded. And then extending from the bindu point, from the belly up, feel a lightening and extending outward. You can almost feel your collarbones broaden as your shoulders roll back and your heart lifts towards the sun. Feeling a lightness. Feeling that balance, the yin and the yang. Feeling it here as you breathe. And then as you inhale, reverse swan dive the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, come to your halfway lift. Bring the hips over the heels, reach forward. Exhale, deeply fold. Take a long step back with your right foot. Come into Anjaneyasana. A high lunge, keep the knee, that front knee, over the ankle. If you need to reposition a little to find it, do. Pull that back thigh off the mat, press the heel back. And as you inhale, bring the arms overhead. Orient the hips towards the front of the mat, shoulders towards the front of the mat. And let's take a few breaths here. Take the front of your hips to the midline and then kind of imagine you tie a bow and you draw it towards your heart. Create some length in your transverse abdominis, that sheath of muscles that surround you like a corset. Exhale, bring your hands to heart. Take an inhale and lengthen, and as you exhale, turn towards the front knee side of your body to the left, and then extend your arms straight out either side. Finding your balance here, finding the balance between grounding and extension. And then exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat as your left arm reaches up. Look up towards the sky. Exhale, reach forward like you're going to shake hands and bring your hand back to the mat. And let's go ahead and take that left foot and reach it high behind us. Square your hips off with the floor and set it down. Finding your down dog if you need to adjust. And then walk your feet to your hands. Find your forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a few breaths here. Notice the movement of energy in your body. There's always, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There's always an effect of movement of energy in the body after we've done asana. Take time to notice it. And then take an inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive down to the mat. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, deeply fold. Take a long step back with your left foot. Find your lunge. If you need to drop that back knee, feel free. Press the back heel back, lift the thigh. Inhale, bring your arms off the mat. Shouldn't be too much curve in your lower back. Like we did in the short practice, if you need to, bend the knee and kind of bring the back to a little more neutral position before you straighten the knee more. Taking some time here. Feel the grounding through the lower half of the body. Pull those femur bones into the hip sockets. Square the hips off with the front of the mat. Feel yourself grow from the belly up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Take a nice deep inhale, put space between the vertebrae. As you exhale, twist to the right. Bring your arms straight out from either side. Exhale, left hand to the mat, right arm straight towards the sky, gaze towards that hand. Exhale, reach it forward. And exhale down to the mat. Take the front foot back and lift it high. Stretch through the heel. And bring it back to the mat. Drop down to your knees, come into child's pose. You can drop into a very comfortable child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And now as you inhale, keep your hands on the mat, keep your elbows tucked in along your sides, and start to slither forward onto your belly. And when you come to the top of the mat, come into a cobra, and exhale. Set your sit bones back towards your heels. Inhale, slowly slithering forward, and exhale back. And twice more. Feeling that tucking in, and then the blooming forward. Hold when you get to this next cobra. And exhale, come down to the mat. Bring your arms by your sides, rest on one of your temples, and take a couple breaths. And go ahead and bring the arms in front for Sphinx pose. We'll do a yin version, so we're going to bring our feet mat distance apart. Elbows are slightly in front of the shoulders, hands are splayed a little to the outside. Kind of pull forward a little, lengthen your upper arm bone. Drop your shoulders down the back, lengthen the back of the neck, and drop into a nice Sphinx pose where we can settle here for a few breaths. Every now and then I like to take a breath from my elbows through my shoulders to remind me to lengthen my arms, keep myself from sagging down. Now go ahead and softly open your eyes and come down enough so that you can press up. And we're going to come into a tabletop position. And find your setup, knees under the hips. And if you can bring your toenails to the mat or curl your toes here, you'll find out in a minute, one will probably help you balance a little more than the other. I like to do this this balancing pose with my toenails to the mat. But take a nice deep inhale and feel it really elongate through your spine. And then on your next inhale, keeping that length, bring your left leg and your right arm out, straight out from the body. Hug the joints tight, but feel your fingers extend, your leg extend. Find your balance on the right knee and on the left hand. And then if you want, bend the back knee, turn your right palm towards the outside. Inhale, bring that arm up and around, take a hold of the little toe side of the foot. Reach your heart forward, finding the grounding, letting it keep you stable. And then exhale, re-extend, and bring your hand and your knee back to the mat. Find your steady state, and we'll move to the other side. Take an inhale and lengthen, and on the next inhale, reach the leg and the arm straight out. Tuck the humerus bone and the femur tight into the socket. Draw your belly button towards your heart. And go ahead and bend that back leg. Turn the left palm out. Use an inhale to come all the way around. Take hold of the little toe side of the foot. Bring that left shoulder towards the front of the mat. Lifting the leg, letting the heart reach forward. And exhale, straight out, and then down to the mat. Let's plant the hands and come back into our down dog. And then go ahead and walk your feet towards your hands, coming into your forward fold. Let yourself fold tightly. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, deeply fold. Bend the knees slightly and really press through all four corners of your feet so you feel that by pushing down and rooting, it almost enables you to come up. Bring your palms overhead to touch. And then from here, bring the big toe sides of your feet together. Kind of sew them together. And I'll move a little over here so you can see more of me. Take a nice deep inhale, and we're going to exhale into a half moon to the right. And your palms can be touching. You can have your fingers interlaced with just your index finger pointing to the sky. And find this stretchy part on the left side of your waist. Take a nice inhale and see if you've got a little more in you to come over to the side. Rooting down as you extend. And inhale, come up. Root down deeply, especially in the little toe side of the right foot, and come over to the left. Take a nice deep inhale and see if you've got a little more to give on that right waist. And inhale, come all the way up. Step your feet wide. Interlace your fingers and flip your palms towards the ceiling. And let's start to the left, and as you exhale, make half of a circle. As you inhale, complete the circle as you rise up. And once more to that side. And then let's go twice to the other side. Coming all the way back up, and go ahead and allow your hands to drop. Step your feet together and come to the front of your mat. Let's inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, nice swan dive down. Inhale, come to your halfway lift. Imagine that little bar right in the crease of your hips. As you come down again, fold your belly button back and up over the bar, helping you to fold really deeply. Take a long step back with the right foot. Let's go ahead and set the knee on the mat this time. Find your lunge where your front knee is over the ankle. And then inhale, bring the arms overhead. And find a comfortable position in this pose. If you need to put a blanket under that back knee, feel free to take time to do that. Find a position where you feel balanced and comfortable on your knee joints. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, turn to your left. Try to bring your shoulders parallel with the long end of your mat and then extend your arms straight out. Look back over that left hand. Exhale, bring your right hand to the mat. Stretch the left arm straight towards the sky. Gaze towards the sky. Exhale, reach forward. Pull it nice and tight into the shoulder socket and release the hand to the little toe side of the foot. Back toes are rolled under. Pick the leg up in the back and take that left leg straight behind you. Lift it high. And then let's go ahead and bend the left knee. Turn and look under your left armpit as you open into a nice stretch and twist towards the left side of your mat. Hug your left heel towards your right glute. And then exhale, straighten the hips and bring the leg back to the mat. Walk your feet back to your hands. Come into your forward fold. And slightly bend the knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, deeply fold, long step back with the left foot. Find your lunge, blanket if you need, and inhale, arms overhead. Feel the grounding and the extension in the pose. Finding the balance between the two. Not too much one or the other, but a nice combination. Exhale. Bring your hands to heart, find some length. Use your next exhale to twist to the right, shoulders as much as possible, parallel with the long end of your mat. Look back over your right hand. Exhale the left hand to the mat, right arm is straight up, gaze towards the sky. As you press into the left hand, the energy reverberates up your arm, gives you some length. Exhale, reach that arm in front of you. Hug the right arm bone into the shoulder and drop the right hand down towards the little toe side of the foot. Back knee comes off the mat. Step that right leg high behind you. Now go ahead and bend the knee. And as you exhale, look underneath your right armpit. Let your belly button twist to the right. Hug your right heel towards your left glute. Exhale, reach that leg behind you and bring it back to the mat. Let's come down into child's pose. Let's mix it up a little. Let's take our hands along our sides. Resting the hands by the feet, palms up. Taking a few breaths here. And one more breath. And go ahead and reach your arms in front of you. Come to a tabletop, ultimately to downward dog. Coming into your forward fold. Bend the knees slightly. Inhale, bring the arms all the way overhead. Hands come to heart. And pause here. in your mountain pose for a few breaths, grounding down in the lower half of the body, finding your connection, your support, your safety. Blossom outward with the upper half of the body. Feel your heart lift. Your collarbones broaden, your shoulders retract. The fingertips feel light. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Inhale, come to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take a long step back with the right foot. And I'm going to turn, you don't need to. Take that foot down at a 90-degree angle. We're going to come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. And if your hips are fairly normal, you'd consider them normal as far as how open they are, your front heel is going to intersect the arch of the back foot. If your hips are a little tighter, take the right toes a little more towards the outside of the mat. So let's go ahead and bend that front knee over the ankle, and then take your right hand and start to bring it towards the sky, kind of windmill it all the way behind you. Left arm reaches in front. Take this back thigh, roll it out just a little bit. Tailbone's coming towards the floor. Another way to say that, take the front of the pubic bone just a little bit behind the waist, so you find that nice neutral feeling into the back. Gaze over the front arm, check for the big toe. And let yourself just soak here for a few breaths. Let's add a little movement. As you inhale, straighten the front knee, turn the palms up, and bring the palms to touch. As you exhale, rebend the knees, draw the palms to heart, and re-extend the arms. Nice and slow. And let your gaze follow the movement of that left arm. And just moving to the breath. And then go ahead and pause here. And as you exhale, take your right hand to the leg, flip your left palm towards the sky, and come into a reverse warrior. And inhale to warrior 2. Exhale, come into a modified extended side stretch. Inhale, come to warrior 2. And just continue to move through that series of poses. Each inhale brings you to warrior 2. And each exhale takes you between reverse warrior and a modified extended side stretch. When you get to the side stretch this time, go ahead and pause there and find that you're supporting yourself through your core. So if you lifted up the left arm from the leg, you wouldn't collapse. You could reach it out. You're not just completely resting upon it. And then slowly bring the right arm down and just skim your mat like you're skimming a pond, using the inhale to bring the arm up and the exhale to circle it down. Getting some nice shoulder work going on there. And then this time when you come to the side stretch, go ahead and stay there. Turn towards that front of the mat. Drop down onto your hands. Plant your hands, and then let's switch the feet. We're going to take the left foot back and the right foot forward. And again, you don't need to do this, but I'm going to switch so that I'm facing you. So we've got our left foot at a 90-degree angle or parallel with the short end of the mat, and our right foot is facing the short end of the mat. Bend your knee over the ankle, find your big toe, A little bit of an outward spiral here, nice and neutral spine, and then arms are out from the shoulders, gaze forward. Take the front hips and kind of draw them into the core a little and lengthen the core up. Feel your shoulder blades retracting on the back as the shoulder blades draw heavy towards the hips. Finding that really beautiful grounding feeling in the lower half of this pose and the nice extension and lightness in the upper body. And then let's move in the pose. As you inhale, straighten the front knee, bring palms to touch. Exhale, re-bend the knee, draw the hands through to the heart, and re-extend. Let your gaze follow the right hand. As we do that 3 more times. Pause in your warrior 2 and exhale into a reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior 2. Exhale, modified side stretch. Inhale, warrior 2. And just continuing to move in that pattern. And this time, as you come into that extended side stretch, go ahead and stay here. Again, make sure you could lift your arm out, take this hip right here, feel right here like you're gonna slide your hand in a pocket, feel that muscle and use that to roll your hip back a little. Arm comes overhead, and then exhale. Let's just skim the mat, and we'll make 4 big circles, letting our shoulders get a little love. Pausing here, turning forward, hands come down on either side of the front foot, walk the back foot forward, and inhale slowly, roll up. So let's come into tree pose, kind of the quintessential pose around grounding and extending out. And tree is also one of the themes for one of our yoga nidras this month. So bring your feet firmly onto the ground or the mat. Honestly, I think I balance better on the wood floor than I do the sticky mat. You can try both and see what works for you. If you're a little concerned about your balance, just be somewhere where you're close to a wall. So take your big toe mound on your right foot and bring it solidly into the earth. And then spread across to the little toe mound, inside, outside heel. And let the toes be wide, but let them kind of float on the mat. Find a nice solidity in this right leg. Not like stone, but like a tree, has a little bit of give. And then kickstand your left heel against your right leg. Bring your hands to heart. Just take a breath here. And I want you to meet, so to speak, your gluteus medius. So the muscle right here. So above the gluteus maximus, like I was going to slide my hand into a pocket right here. I want you to put your left hand on that muscle on your left leg. And I want you to contract that muscle to pull this hip to the outside. And bring your hands back to heart. And then this could be your tree pose today. Feel yourself pressing down through that right foot, and as you press down, the energy reverberates up your body, giving you length. Collarbones are broad. And if you want to come up a little more, you can bring your left foot to your calf, or avoiding the knee somewhere on the thigh, maybe all the way up, keeping that gluteus medius, turning the knee back. And then if you want, you can reach your arms overhead. You can move and sway your branches. Have a drishti gaze. Find a point where you can keep a soft gaze. Usually the lower it is, the more easy it is to keep your balance. You can come in and out of the pose if you need to, but just experiment with that feeling of grounding. And the left foot is grounding into the right leg as well, just like the right leg is grounding into the floor, into the earth. And then from the mid-body up, from that bindu point, the meeting of grounding and extension. We can feel ourselves really lifting. And how beautiful it is to have both. Life would be boring if we were just sedentary and grounding all the time, and it would be a little unwieldy if we were always just trying to extend outward. So having the balance between the two, finding that for yourself, and then really extend on your next inhale, and then see if you can really softly come out of the pose on your exhale. I know sometimes I wobbled there, sometimes my foot just wants to come straight to the mat. Take a couple breaths here, and then let's come to the other side. We're going to bring the big toe mound of the left foot into the mat, and then the little toe mound inside, outside heel. Toes are wide and floating on the mat. Neutral spine, neutral hips. And then we're going to kickstand that right leg. We're going to feel ourselves contract that muscle, bring the knee to the outside. And we may stay here, we may move the leg up. If you move the leg up, let the heel be slightly more towards the front of the body than the toes. And then feel the press in. You can bring your arms overhead. And again, find a drishti point. Keep a nice soft gaze. If you come in and out of the pose, which I'm about to do, that's fine. And your balance can be really different on one side than the other. So that's pretty normal. Depends what time of day it is. A lot of factors affect your balance. Use an inhale to really reach up, and use an exhale to come all the way down. Feels nice. And we're going to do one other kind of nice balancing pose. So I noted you needed a block for the practice in the right up, and I didn't mention at the beginning. So if you need to pause the video to grab a block, go ahead and pause it. But get your block ready. And we're going to take our block. My wall, if you can tell, is slanted. So I'm going to actually just do this on my mat. But I want you to come against the wall. And I'm going to cue you as though you're against the wall. So you're going to take your block in your wall side hand, and you're going to place it so that it's right against the wall, imagining that my edge of my mat is where the wall starts. And then bring your wall side hand down onto that block so that it's directly under your shoulder. You'll notice that your top leg kind of wants to come up. Let it come up. Bring it straight out. Find that muscle again, right here, that gluteus medius. Roll it or contract it. So you kind of roll that hip open, and then bring that upper arm straight up towards the sky. Let your neck extend long so you're not kind of sinking into it. And if you can gaze up, go ahead and gaze up. Bring that leg as far up as you can. Stretch through the heel so this back foot is flexed like you're standing. Gaze towards that lifted arm. Just exploring your balance here, engaging that gluteus medius to roll that top hip back. And then to come out, you're slowly going to take that upper leg and just bring it next to your lower leg, bringing you into Uttanasana or a forward fold. Come all the way into the fold, relax for a couple breaths. And then just roll up. And then turn to face the other way against your wall. So again, take the block right against the wall. Take your wall side hand on top of the block. So you want that block straight under your shoulder. And then walk that wall side foot up behind the block. I have short tendons on the outside of my foot, so you're going to see my foot's leaning in a little, but that's not because it's good alignment. It's just because my body's a little funky that way, and it's hard for me to do it the other way. And then go ahead and start to lift the wall or the inside leg. Bring it straight out, and I'm looking back at the camera, which was a bad idea. Go ahead and bring this arm straight up and engage that gluteus medius so you can feel your hip rolling towards the wall, that upper hip. And find your pose. You can gaze up. Do so. You've got the wall to support you. I'm going to gaze down because I can feel my balance on this side is just a little interesting at this moment. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring your feet back together on the floor. Come into your forward fold. And simply roll up. Perfect. I can't see you, but I sense that it was perfect. So go ahead and come back down onto the mat. And let's go ahead and roll onto our back and bring our knees in towards our chest. And just take a moment and pause, hug them tight. If you're feeling the urge to rock side to side or up and back or make circles with the hips, go ahead. If you're like me and right now just feel like just pausing for a minute, go ahead and do that. And then when you're ready, sit your right foot on the mat and bring your left foot towards the ceiling for a half happy baby. So your left sole of your left foot's pointing towards the sky and your hands on the little toe side of the foot. Bring that knee straight towards the earth. You may come almost all the way to the earth, you may not. It's okay if the right buttock comes off the mat a bit. Let your right hand just rest on the right hip or the floor. And use the exhale to bring the left foot back to the mat. Let's come to the other side. Go ahead and pick up your right foot for a half happy baby. And go ahead and bring that knee straight towards the floor. Pausing here. And go ahead and bring the right foot down with an exhale. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Pull the heels in as close as you can to the V of your legs. And then reach your arms straight overhead. Bend the elbows and cup each elbow in a palm, letting your shoulders and your elbows just relax against the earth. Feel the pads of each toe touching its partner on the opposite toe. And let's breathe up and down the side body. As you inhale, let's move to the left side. Breathe up the left side of your body, letting your hips root down as your armpit floats up and your ribs bow or bow out to the side. And as you exhale, let it go. Inhale up the right side body. Same thing, creating length and letting the ribs stretch out towards the room you're in. And let go. Alternating the breath. Inhale to the left and to the right. And when you've done an equal number to both sides, go ahead and pause. Use your hands to gently bring your knees back together. And then let's take our left ankle onto our right knee and kind of imagine that you're gluing it right there. Cactus your arms to the sides. Take a deep inhale and just let your left foot drop over to the right side of your mat or from where you are. Look over your left shoulder. Now one more breath here. And inhale, rock that leg back up. Now go ahead and bring the right thigh towards you. Interlace your fingers around the right thigh and pull the right leg towards you as you press the left knee away from you. Flex the left toes towards the left knee. Let's move a little pelvic tilt as we let the hips simmer here. So as you inhale, curl your tailbone towards the floor so that there's space right underneath your lower spine. And as you exhale, flatten that space out, roll the tailbone towards your belly button. And just continue to move with your breath in that way, even as you continue to keep that left knee pressing away from your body. Inhale, curl the tailbone towards the earth. Exhale, curl it towards the belly button. And one more. And then go ahead and relax. Take the right foot and left foot to the mat. Now we're going to take the right ankle above the left knee. Kind of glue it there. Cactus the arms. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, let that right foot just find its way all the way down to the floor. If you need to maybe not go quite that far, put a blanket or block under there, you can. Look over your right shoulder. Another breath here. And then when you're ready, inhale and bring that leg back up. And let's bring the left leg towards you, interlacing your fingers around the back of that left thigh. Pull the left thigh in, press the right knee away from you, curl the right toes towards the right knee. Introducing a pelvic tilt when you're ready. Inhale, tilt the tailbone towards the floor. And exhale, tilt it towards your belly button. And then when you're ready, release the leg, let both feet come to the mat. Stretch the legs out, let the arms extend by your side. Wiggle your fingers and your toes just a little bit. Take your fingertips and just kind of tap, starting at the forehead, down the face. Down under the ears and on the ears. And down the neck just a little bit. Bring your arms along your sides. And then settle here for a Shavasana, or if you'd like, start your Yoga Nidra recording. But whatever you do, let yourself relax here for just a little bit. Namaste.